A very big school in the city called Greystone Academy stood on a misty hill, far from the noise of cities. With its iron gates, stone towers, and manicured lawns, it looked like the perfect haven for elite children. Parents paid fortunes to get their kids in. Brochures boasted of discipline, excellence, and moral grooming, but inside, Greystone whispered darker truths. The headmaster, Mr. Thorne, ran the school like a prison warden. He wore black gloves even in summer and never smiled. Teachers ruled with cold efficiency, and prefects were mini dictators. The students called it the grey hell behind locked doors. Punishments were brutal. Forgotten homework earned hours in the ice room, a windowless cell in the cellar. Speaking out of turn meant being tethered, forced to stand arms raised in the courtyard under the rain, sometimes for hours. Meals were meager, inspections humiliating. But no one dared complain. Letters home were censored, calls monitored. Most parents believed their children were just adjusting to a strict structure. Until one day, everything changed. Mrs. Angela Reed, a single mother and former investigative journalist, had sent her son, Ethan, to Greystone after he got into fights at his previous school. After weeks of short, emotionless calls and vague letters, she felt something was wrong. One night, Ethan accidentally let it slip on the phone, "Mom, don't visit. They'll know you weren't told." That was all she needed. The next day, Angela drove 6 hours to Greystone, unannounced. At the gate, she told the guard she was delivering medication Ethan had forgotten. He hesitated but eventually let her in. As she walked the gloomy halls, the silence was chilling. No laughter. No chatter. Just doors and echoes. Then she heard it. A faint cry, not of pain, but of exhaustion. Following the sound, she slipped through a side corridor and out into the courtyard. There, under the drizzle, stood a thin, shivering boy tied to a post with his arms bound above his head. His uniform was soaked. His lips trembled. It wasn't Ethan. A teacher stood nearby, casually sipping tea under an umbrella. Angela's blood froze. She reached for her phone and, without drawing attention, started recording. "What did this child do?" she asked, her voice deceptively calm. The teacher turned, startled. "He was caught speaking during inspection," he replied coldly. "Discipline is critical here, madam. Perhaps you should return to the office." Instead, Angela left. That night, the footage went viral. The next day, the Sentinel, Daily Eye, and Parent Watch all carried the headline, "Elite Boarding School or Legalized Torture Camp." The Ministry of Education launched an investigation. Greystone's records were seized. Hidden rooms were discovered. Former students came forward with horror stories, scars, trauma, cover-ups. Parents rallied. Mr. Thorne was arrested for abuse, endangerment, and obstruction of justice. Teachers resigned en masse. Ethan was pulled from the school. So were hundreds of others. Greystone Academy shut down within a month. Angela returned to journalism, not as a reporter, but as an advocate. She founded Break the Silence, an organization exposing institutional abuse in elite schools. And the walls of Greystone. They still stood abandoned, moss-covered, whispering the truth to anyone willing to listen. Because one mother didn't. She acted. Subscribe to Folktale TV for more interesting stories.